דבר אחד יהודה ושם כבעולם מוכשנים כתבוניותנה לבריהו כל השונה הלכות בכל יום מובטח לו שהוא בין המובן שנאמר להלכות ומנועה תיכות אלא הלכות
חזק וברוך. בוקר טוב רבותיי. Welcome to the next minyan. I want to tell you a little bit about the laws of Kaddish. There's a difference between the Ashkenazim and Sfaradim when it comes to standing for Kaddish. The Ashkenazim, they stand for Kaddish always, no matter what, right? Uzar Mazrat, whatever happens, they stand for Kaddish. Why is that? Because there's a Ramah brought down in the Shulchan Aruch. He brings the Yerushalmi, Gemara Yerushalmi. He says over there, the Yerushalmi, Omdim lechol devar kedusha. We stand for everything which is kedusha. So therefore, this is the reason why the Ramah says that the Ashkenazim have a custom to stand for Kaddish always, no matter what. This is the way it is. By the way, interesting just to note that this Yerushalmi that the Ramah mentions, we don't have it in our Yerushalmi. In our Nusach, it's not found there. But he must have had it. There's different Nusachs, in Yerushalmi, different manuscripts. So we don't have it, but he had it, and that's the way he quoted it. So that's the way it is. When it comes to Sfaradim, though, not so, right? Not so. We don't stand for Kaddish always. So what's the law of Kaddish with the Sfaradim? So it says in the Sefer Kafahayim, over there he brings the Sephardi custom, right? Which is like this, okay? That if a person, if the Kaddish starts and a person is sitting, he's not obligated to stand. He can keep sitting and hear the whole Kaddish sitting. This is the way it is, But if he was already standing and the Kaddish started, okay, he cannot sit anymore. Oh, it's not allowed to do that, said the Kafahayim. Even for Sfaradim. If you were already standing, you cannot sit. So what do you got to do? Wait till he gets to Damiran Be'alma. Right? Over there, Damiran Be'alma, once he gets to that part, and then he starts Al Yisrael or right to Yeshlama, that's you can sit down after that. Why is that? Because it says the Rambam, that's not really a part of the Kaddish, that part. After Damiran Be'alma, it's a different prayer. It's something which was added later on by the sages. It's not a part of the Kaddish. So this is the reason why we're not so makpid, to stand for that part. And so therefore this is the rule for the Sfaradim, right? But there is one Kaddish, by the way, out of the week, that we do stand, even the Sfaradim they stand, for the Kaddish always. The custom is to stand. Says the Ben Ish Chai. Which Kaddish that is? Anybody know? Which Kaddish do we stand every time, the Sfaradim? Leil Shabbat, exactly. Leil Shabbat, when we do Arvit, right? Right before the Arvit, that Kaddish, we stand for that Kaddish. God bless you. God bless you. What's the reason why we stand for that Kaddish? The reason is because, as Ben Ish Chai, you're taking on the Tosefet Neshama of Shabbat. So to give kavod to Shabbat, to taking on the Tosefet Neshama, this is the reason why you have to stand for that Kaddish. So therefore, right, this is the custom of the Sfaradim, that we stand only for that Kaddish. All the other Kaddishim, we're not obligated to stand. And the truth is, that I can tell you that I saw Maran, in his minyan, and he, was not even machmir. There's no reason to be machmir for the Sfaradim, to stand for the Kaddish. We're not machmir about that. There's no reason to be machmir. Just keep sitting. If you were standing, stand. And keep standing until we said Bad Damiran Be'alma. What about talking, right, during Kaddish? So the truth is, that there's a midrash that says, warns people not to talk during the Kaddish, especially Divrei Chol, things which are mundane words. You're not allowed to talk mundane words during the Kaddish. It's mashma a little bit that Divrei Torah is okay, but anyway, the truth is, the custom nowadays is we don't talk about anything during Kaddish, right? But again, the same thing over here, right? When you get to Damiran Be'alma, and then goes on from there, Al Yisrael or Yeshlama, there, if a person has a need to talk, he's allowed to talk. It's okay, it's allowed. What's the reason why? Because that's not really a part of Kaddish anymore, as we said, right? That's already a different prayer. So over there, in time of need, they're allowed. I remember I had one friend who was a chavruta of mine when we were young. He told me, he says, I saw, he says, I don't know this with these big rabbis, he says, sometimes I see these big chachamim, they're called big chachamim, but I see that they're talking during the Kaddish. What kind of thing is that? He tells me, I said, wait a second, I said, don't be so quick to judge them. Did you hear them talking after Damiran Be'alma? He says, as I told them, that's mutar, it's allowed to talk, so what do you want, So, sometimes, people judge the Gedolei Yisrael, they judge the big chachamim, and they say, I saw him doing this, I saw him doing this. Before you say, you tell people what you saw him doing, first of all, find out what's the halakha, Make sure you understand what's the halakha. Before you talk, the rabbis, they do this, and they do like that. It's not proper to talk like that. So this is the issue of Kaddish, right? Also regarding the Kedusha, I want to tell you as well, right? The Kedusha that we say during the Amidah and all these things, says Maran in Rebbe Omer, Ravadi Shalom. He says that the last part, right? Imloch Adonai Leolam, that part is not really a part of the Kaddish. I'm sorry, the Kedusha. It's not a part of the Kedusha. So therefore, right, it has a different din than the other ones. And I'll tell you what's an afkamina The practical difference is that if a person, let's say, right, at that part of the Kedusha already, which is, as we said, Baruch Shem, we already said that, Baruch Adonai, right, that's this, now we're going to Imloch Adonai Le'olam. Over there, if a person is in the middle of Kriyat Shema, let's say, right, or is in the middle of some Kedusha, he's doing Elokai Nitzor, right, in the Amidah. So he's allowed to answer for Kedusha over there. But Imloch Adonai Le'olam, he's not allowed to answer. Why? Because that's not really part of the Kaddish. So therefore, the rule is that part he should not answer, over there, because it's not really part of the Kaddish. And nobody gave him permission to interrupt over there during the Kriyat Shema and during the Elokai Nitzor, which is also, you're not allowed to talk certain things over there. Most things you're not allowed to talk, and therefore nobody gave him permission to do that. Baruch Adonai Le'olam, Amen ve'Amen. Chazak v'Baruch.